Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by the Grant Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Joe Everett. Well, currently 34 degrees outside here at the farm this morning, and snow makes its way through the Buckeye State today. We'll have a full forecast update for you later on. But first, this quick calendar reminder, the Jackson County Regional Livestock Market will have their bred cow sale Friday at 6 p.m. JCRLM.com, your livestock authority. Now looking at some of your agricultural news headlines. This week, the Ohio General Assembly passed $10 million in support for farmers still reeling from losses due to this year's drought. For many livestock farmers, especially in southeast Ohio, the persistent drought through the summer and fall months were some of the most challenging conditions ever seen. The weeks of dry, hot weather decimated pastures, causing farmers to start buying and feeding hay months before they usually would. In some counties, more than 100,000 gallons of water is trucked in daily just to keep the livestock alive. The drought added insult to injury for farmers who at the same time are facing economic challenges. Farm income is projected to be down nearly 25% across the country this year. Those factors and other issues have forced some multi-generational family farms to sell off part of their operation to be able to even consider continuing to do business in 2025. Well, California has declared a state of emergency for the bird flu. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Wednesday issued a state of emergency in response to a worsening bird flu outbreak that has affected hundreds of dairy herds. The action will ensure government agencies have the resources and flexibility they need around staffing, contracting, and other rules to support the state's response to the outbreak, according to the emergency proclamation. Statewide, bird flu has spread to 641 dairies in 9 counties since late August, when the first detections in cattle emerged. It has infected 34 people in California to date. Newsom said a shift from regional containment to statewide monitoring was necessary, citing livestock infections at 4 Southern California dairies on December 12th. The state has already taken steps to address the bird flu virus, including enhancing testing of raw milk and livestock. To date, no person-to-person spread of the virus has been detected in the United States. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at today's weather after this.
Did you know soybeans' #1 customer is animal agriculture? That includes Ohio's dairy farms. High oleic soybeans have long been highlighted for their use in human food, but it can also be a benefit for dairy cows. Research shows it helps boost milk fat concentration and milk fat yield. That means more profitability. Soybeans, feeding the industry that feeds us. Brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Since 1926, Nationwide has been rooted in agriculture. Founded as the Farm Bureau Mutual Automobile Insurance Company with a mission to protect farmers and their communities, we honor our legacy by offering solutions that evolve with the complex needs of today's farms. As the leading insurer of America's farms and trusted by 8 farm bureaus for 100 years and counting, Nationwide is on your side. #1 insurer based on 2023 direct written premium per AM Best. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Now for today's weather, and as we head into the weekend, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Got a little snow in here for your Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag weather update, and it's a little bit of a wintry one here. Clipper system that moved through the upper Midwest yesterday took aim at the Great Lakes. All of a sudden decided, hey, you know where we should put down the best precipitation? Let's go to Ohio. That's where everybody wants to deal with this, and so here we are. We've got moisture coming through, but it's in the form of snow. Snow showers will continue off and on through most of the day here today. I think we look for a coating to a couple of inches pretty easily by the time all is said and done, and that can be even in southern parts of Ohio. Now, not everybody's going to get a blanket. I'm not talking about a blanket of 2 inches or even more for the entire state. No, it's going to be patchy all over the place, but there's potential for a couple of inches of snow pretty much everywhere. We'll just have to see how the winds blow. That's being a big part of it. Strong winds out of the north-northwest will blow this around a little bit, and that leads to some of the patchiness. Also, lake enhancement will be at play. Good news is everything's done by midnight or shortly thereafter, and we should dry down for the weekend. A little lake effect lingers in northeast Ohio for tomorrow, but the rest of us see partly sunny skies with high pressure in here. It's cold Canadian high pressure. but it is high pressure. We start next week off on Monday with sunshine with clouds increasing. Then we've got rain and wet snow showers possible overnight to Monday night through Christmas Eve Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's check in with Dusty Sonnenberg for an update from the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association.
I'm joined today by Tad Nicholson. Tad is Executive Director of the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association. Tad, always a lot of buzz coming out of Washington, D.C., but right now as we get towards the end of the year, maybe more so than other times, dealing with a continuing resolution. What is a continuing resolution, and what does it have to do with agriculture?
The continuing resolution, a big bill at the very end of the year that would keep the government funded, and because it's a must-pass bill, lots of other things get added to it. I know a lot of people don't like that system about hanging lots of different things on one great big omnibus type of a bill, but that's the way things work because they just haven't passed very many things throughout the rest of this year, like a farm bill, for instance.
Yeah, we've been asking for a farm bill since before 2018 when this current one was passed, already looking ahead to what we thought we were going to have, and we're over a year behind where we should have had that passed. Probably many people have heard we're coming up on a critical time for that farm bill as the extensions that we've been allocated are going to expire.
Yeah, and this is a must. You just can't let this go. If they have this permanent law that if they don't pass a farm bill, that they do revert back to old, antiquated farm bill language that even FSA, there's no way they could implement this. And so it's not a realistic type of a thing to even entertain as an option. So a farm bill extension is a must-pass type of a thing as well. And so all these things are being negotiated in Congress. We knew that when they pushed the farm bill into a presidential election year, it was going to be a difficult thing. So it's not real surprising to most of us that it got pushed and pushed and pushed, and now we're looking into a lame duck type of a session where they just extend it for 1 year. But even that is being questioned right now as they're negotiating what they're going to do with this continuing resolution, because right now that this is a vehicle that would extend the farm bill by 1 year.
Well, in addition to that, obviously one of the big things in Congress is pay-fors and how do we pay for, but something important to corn growers deals with E15 sales in a way that they could really help out the corn grower industry and the ethanol industry and not have to worry about pay-fors or cost the taxpayers a single dime.
Yeah, we've been talking about this all year as well, and I appreciate your coverage of this because it's just such an important thing for the grain industry. This is instant corn demand, just allowing E15 sale during the year, not mandating it, not requiring it, nothing like that, just allowing fuel retailers to sell it during the summer months is not currently available. So it needs a legislative fix. It too was one that we were really hoping to get wrapped into this end of the year bill. And up about 3 weeks ago, we thought there's no way it'll do it, but through some really great negotiations, it did make its way into the continuing resolution. And if all of the pushback on the continuing resolution that you're hearing in the media is that it's too expensive, well, here's a piece of it that doesn't cost a dime. This is absolutely free. It's a regulatory change, and it doesn't cost taxpayers a dime, and it actually saves taxpayers money at the pump. So to us, taking this out of a continuing resolution just doesn't make any sense, and we're demanding that our elected officials push for keeping at least this and Farm Bill extension in the continuing resolution.
Well, that does make a lot of sense. Well, around parts of Ohio, obviously, we had a really challenging year with the drought in southern parts of the state and all across the country, just different issues, whether it's hurricanes, wildfires, and with the market prices that agricultural producers have, regardless of commodity and regardless of where they're at in the country. A lot of challenges there as well. Any chance for some relief in those terms?
Well, there certainly is, and you're hitting on the third bullet or third important point that we want to make sure is in there. You're right. We're in a bad situation right now. This is a very difficult farm economy, and we're compounded by droughts certainly for us here in Ohio, hurricane flooding in the Carolinas. People's farms are wiped out. The economic situation in southern states, I think, is even worse than it is in the Midwest here. We're talking about people that won't even be able to make it into the next year. The Farm Bill is a good thing, but it's certainly going to come too late for many. And so an economic stimulus package certainly coming to those farmers to help to bolster them for things that were out of their control. So this is why we would have an economic stimulus package. So those three things that you just mentioned, Farm Bill, E15 year-round fix, and then some sort of an economic stimulus for those that really need it this year. Those are the things that we're asking our members to call Congress right now. It's no time to write letters. We're getting on the phone and we're making our voices heard in person. And anybody that's listening can certainly participate in that as well, just by going to our website, ohiocornandwheat.org. First thing you'll see is a button that you can push, and it walks you right through it. Very easy, and it will patch you right through to your congressional office so that you can tell them those three things are important.
My guest today is Tad Nicholson. He's Executive Director of the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association. Tad, thanks so much for all your work and for the update today.
Well, thank you, Dusty.
Thanks, Dusty, for that update. The integration of artificial intelligence, AI, into agriculture is transforming crop monitoring and farm management. AI-powered tools simulate human learning and decision-making, enabling advancements in automation, financial analysis, and precision agriculture. Examples include vineyard water management, potato fertility optimization, and pest detection via drones. These technologies enhance efficiency and provide actionable insights, helping farmers make data-driven decisions. For instance, AI-driven soil moisture sensors reduce water usage in vineyards by up to 30% without compromising yield. Drones with high-resolution cameras enable early pest detection, reducing crop damage. AI adoption in agriculture is expected to grow rapidly with applications in remote sensing, automation, robotics, and data analytics. These tools predict yields, identify diseases, and optimize resources, fostering productivity and sustainability. For more information, you can find this full article at ohioagnet.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the grain analysis and your overnight markets after this.
Hi, I'm Greg Peterson of the Peterson Farm Brothers. If you've seen our videos, you know we're proud to be farmers. Farming can be dangerous. Never assume location or depth of underground utilities or pipelines. Before you start any work on your farm, call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com to have underground lines located. It only takes a minute and can save your life.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
It's now time for the Louis Dreyfus Grain Analysis, and that is brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished mixed on Thursday. Maybe a dead cat bounce in the soybean market. Beans are up anywhere from 11 to 13 cents. We saw corn trying to come along late, up about 2 to 3. Wheat markets did not get involved. Most of the chatter yesterday was about whether or not the beans had put in a short-term low, or whether it was literally just a dead cat bounce. I think the Friday trade is going to be answering that question one way or the other. The talking points also yesterday were on the Brazilian real after reaching 6.29 to 1 versus the U.S. dollar, bounced back at 6.16, but it's still about a 25% devaluation from where we started the year. You've got a huge crop coming out of South America in Brazil and Argentina. That huge crop needs to get sold cheap, and then when you add the currency things on top of it, that means that cheap crop gets more bang for the buck if you're buying from Brazil than from the U.S. just because of the difference in currency. So it's going to be interesting to see here whether we can follow through with another little bit of strength. We may have tapped out yesterday with a move in the March complex up to about 968. Again, time will tell. We'll watch it today. USDA did announce a flash reported sale yesterday, 227,000 metric tons of beans for unknown. 152,000 were for the 24-25 crop year, but somebody booked 75,000 metric tons for 25-26 already. It's being reported that Brazil sold about 5 to 7 cargoes of wheat to the Saudi Arabian tender that came out last weekend. Brazil traditionally has trouble making a 12.5% protein grade, but world exporters are confident that South America has sold at least 8 to 10 cargoes of wheat at prices that were seen as cheap. That's part of the reason why the wheat market did not get any love through the day yesterday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Looking at your overnight markets, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. March corn 441 up a quarter. May corn 446.5 up a quarter. January soybeans 962.5 down a half. March soybeans 965 3/4 down 3/4. March wheat 533 3/4 up 3/4. Looking at livestock from yesterday's close, December live cattle 190.35 down 95 cents. February live cattle 186.55, down $1.77. February lean hogs 83.62, down 7 cents. April lean hogs 88.62, down 27 cents. March feeder cattle 254.57, down $2.80. April feeder cattle 255.45, down $2.95. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.